Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I last posted. I wanted to take the time to spend my winter vacation with family and get to sort of refresh from not just the outside world and school and everything that was involved. And now we're back. Of course, we're back with some chaos. If you guys have been involved in the market at all recently, this is a finance channel. It's just been absolute chaos over the last couple of days. The first several days really good for the average person, and now it's kind of turned back around, and you just kind of see how much control the higher ups in, not necessarily the government, but in just the society of the United States and of the world as a whole, how much power those people have. So we're going to get into it in this video. Obviously, this is surrounding WallStreetBets. If you don't know what they are a Reddit group. I believe they're also on Discord. So essentially, it's a forum where people go on there and chat, and they follow each other, and they can post all sorts of different stuff. And recently, they were involved with a short squeeze on GameStop stock. You can look at the last several days of GameStop. As you guys see, over the last month, it was as low as $17, and in the last year, it was as low as like $3.90 or something like that. And then you see this massive spike, and you may ask yourself, what caused that? So, what a short squeeze is we can actually look up squeeze. The actual definition of it in a stock market. A short squeeze is a rapid increase in the price of a stock owing primarily to technical factors in the market rather than underlying fundamentals. The short squeeze can occur when there's a lack of supply and an excess of demand for the stock due to short sellers covering their position. So what these people did over here at WallStreetBets, they found out that like 90% of GameStop stock was being shorted by these massive hedge funds. And then they kind of said the leader had like 50 grand in this stock since 2019, and good news started coming out around GameStop. So they put more and more money, and in this coordinated effort to get GameStop to rise, it did extraordinarily, as you guys can see. It went from 40. Let's go back even further than that. It went from around $40 up to 347, and it was close to 400 at one point. 470, and that was just this morning. It was at its peak this morning before people like Robinhood canceled trading on it, so you couldn't buy anymore, you could only sell. So essentially what happened, as they saw this price rising, if you're shorting the stock, that means if the price falls, you're going to be profitable on the stock, but if it rises, you're going to lose a lot of money because you're going to have to buy that stock back from the people who you sold it to short the stock. So you have to buy it at a much higher price tag. So as this price started rising, these hedge fund managers started freaking out, and they were trying to buy back the short positions that they had on the stock. And obviously that inherently drove up the stock price because there wasn't much in terms of supply, but the demand was so high at this current time. So that automatically drove up the stock price, as you guys see, to as high as $470. But the turmoil of all this, and the guy who we talked about who had $50K invested in GameStop at this point in time, a couple of days ago posted screenshots that he turned that $50K into around $22 million. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was higher, probably closer to 30 to 40 million. If he cashed out now, he probably is right around 20 million again. If he didn't cash out, maybe a little lower, 10, 15. So I really, really hope he cashed out before all this nonsense happened. Because what essentially happened today, which is Thursday, January 24th of 2021, Robinhood announced and some other trading platforms announced that, like I said, they're not going to allow trading on stocks like GameStop, like Nokia. And these were all companies that were companies of stock or stocks of companies that were being targeted in this coordinated effort to beat these hedge fund managers. It was Nokia, GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, and you see the same thing happening across all of them. 30% loss today, 36% loss today, 44% loss today, because what essentially happened was platforms like Robinhood said, you're not allowed to buy this stock anymore. So if you're not allowed to buy it and you're only allowed to sell it, that's automatically going to bring the price down because no one's going to be willing. You're going to constantly have to go underneath the next person to sell your stock before they can sell their stock. So that automatically puts money back into the pockets of these hedge fund managers. And these guys are multi-billionaires, but they're babies. They're babies. You have people like Steve Cohen, whatever his name is, the owner of the Mets. If you want a baseball team in New York, you're worth billions and billions of dollars, but you're also a baby for complaining about this and getting your way, because that just shows where the priorities are, because they're getting bailed out by these massive companies and by the government because they have their hands in the cookie jar. They know if these hedge fund managers are successful that they'll profit from their successes. And that's absolutely terrible. So if you're a baseball fan, I would consider, the Astros were the enemy this year. Possibly make Steve Cohen the enemy this year. Bring some signs. Don't be dumb about it. But, it's ridiculous that the billionaires, with all this volatility, all of a sudden volatility is bad. But before, the volatility was a good thing because these billionaires were making money off of it. Now everyday people try to make money off of it, and it's a problem all of a sudden. Volatility's been in the market forever, but all of a sudden it is now bad because everyday people like you and me are profiting from it. So we see this tweet by Ted Lieu. This is actually back on the WallStreetBets Reddit. And they were actually banned yesterday. They were banned last night on Reddit and Discord, and now they're back up because I think Reddit understands that that was a stupid decision, because that's essentially censoring freedom of speech, and they labeled it as hate speech, hateful and discriminatory content. None of it was hateful. None of it was discriminatory. They were just censoring free speech, more or less. So Ted Lieu, this is a tweet that was posted on the WallStreetBets Reddit page. Is there anything wrong with folks buying a stock like GameStop because they want to stick it to the hedge funds? No, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, granted, this has never been done before, but again, there's nothing wrong with it. The SEC, people who worked at the SEC even said there's nothing wrong with it. But people like Robinhood still shut it down because they have that kind of power, and it's absolutely crazy. Is there anything wrong with Robinhood stopping people from buying GameStop stock or allegedly doing forced sales? Likely. So the SEC should investigate. I never wish negative things upon people, but when you're in the wrong and you're clearly doing something wrong and you're affecting the livelihoods of normal people who are not doing anything wrong, and you're doing something wrong that affects them negatively, you need to be investigated. So we'll see if that happens. It won't surprise me if it doesn't happen, but it's absolutely crazy that Robinhood shut this down. It wouldn't surprise me if it's shut down again tomorrow, because now it's back open. And who's to say that these people don't organize another thing? I know they've been talking about Nokia again. They've been talking about GameStop. They're talking about it going to the moon, and I sure hope it goes to the moon. I mean, it's not a long-term thing. So it's super risky. I'm not recommending that anybody goes out and does this. But the concept of sticking it to the man of these billionaires that don't, quote unquote, need this money, but they whine about it, is a concept that I can get behind. Will I get involved? Probably not, because I don't like that kind of risk. Actually, I do like that number. It's going up after hours. Come on now. 10% on Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's bring it back, man. Let's bring it back. And then here's the article from Yahoo Finance. We'll wrap it up here. How free exactly is the market? Asked Wall Street Bets founder Jamie R. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. The founder of Wall Street Bets, the forum on Reddit at the center of the GameStop saga. Robinhood, Interactive Brokers, and other brokerage firms on Thursday restricted trading on stocks going through recent massive short squeezes like GameStop and AMC. AMC was another. Let's see if we can't find AMC stock. Holy cow, 56. It's actually coming back up 24%. Let's see him return. Let's see him come back. Let's see him come back again. Why are the brokers taking action? What are the forces behind it? Obviously, they're pressured under it by these hedge fund managers. It doesn't make sense for Robinhood to do something like that given their target demographic. And their target demographic is the everyday person. They're Robinhood. They're stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. But in this case, they're stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. So they're literally going against everything their name stands for. It's absolutely crazy. Those people are effectively now controlling the price of the market as well. There's nothing free about that. If a price gets too high and you can just say like, oh, nope, I don't want it that high. Let's bring it back down a little bit. There's nothing free. You can't control that. So the people who are in power will always have power over something that's supposed to be a free market. It's an absolutely crazy concept. Jamie says the SEC should try to stabilize the situation. I do believe that they have a responsibility to do something about it. The thing that I question is whether they have the tools to do it, both either regulatory as far as per rules are established and or the resources, she said. The fact that they're having brokers step in, it says volumes to me as opposed to the SEC. And if you don't know what the SEC is essentially in charge of the market. It's the Securities and Equities Securities Exchange Commission, I believe is what it's called. Oops, let's not pull up SEC. Let's see if we can get the Securities and Exchange Commission. Is a large independent agency of the U.S. Federal government that was created following the stock market crash. And it's following such a big event, but this is a big event. This is something we may never see again, but they're not acting. And if they do, they're going to side with the hedge fund managers, which is absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Love that it pulled up SEC football before the actual SEC. Will the SEC sue GameStop traders? The case could pose a super weird challenge. They better not be suing these people for the money that they earned off this. This is something that is legal. They're doing perfectly legal things. It's just never been done before. So set a precedent and potentially avoid this in the future. But it's been legal up to this point. You know, I mean, that's just the world we live in these days. The fact that they have brokers stepping up, we already read that. Jamie tells Yahoo Finance he has not been a moderator of Wall Street Bets since April of last year and is not trading any of the volatile, heavily shortened stocks recently experiencing short squeezes. The SEC put out a statement on Wednesday saying it was monitoring the ongoing market volatility. It's unclear whether what the agency could do, and one law professor told Yahoo Finance the case could pose a super weird challenge. They need to leave the people alone. They need to leave the people alone, and will they do it? It's tough to say. I'll wrap it up with this. I think it's scary how much power the people in power have. You know, it's truly scary, and hopefully, you know, these videos, whether it's this video, whether it's another video you've seen on it, kind of open you guys' eyes and help you be careful and prepared in case, you end up getting burnt in the stock market or in just in everyday life. It's something that is a sad reality. We're losing free speech. We're losing a lot of freedoms, especially in the United States. I know this can affect people nationwide or worldwide, I should say. But the United States is an interesting place. And if you want to see to go back to normal, you should call your senators, you should call your governors, you should do all these things. Call your local authorities. And make sure they're serving what you want, what you voted for, what these things. I don't want to turn this into a political conversation because it's not. But it's an interesting situation. Hopefully you guys were not burnt in this situation at all. And like I said, it's I don't know. It's scary. It really is. So hopefully you guys are being safe out there. I appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout this break and throughout that voice crack. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will try to become more consistent. And I'm also working on starting a podcast. I already have one episode out. It is a sports podcast. So it's not directly related to this. But I would appreciate it if you guys did check that out. Like I said, like and subscribe to the channel. And we're going to keep delivering content for the people, by the people here on this channel. Have a good one, guys.